It's a best of 5. Spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map, Winter's Gate, representing Pandig Global. It's Kelazhur.
And in the top left, it is our blue Zerg player. It is Denver. He is French, and he's currently playing for Infinity Gaming.
Infinity Gaming, a great StarCraft 2 team. We've
Absolutely.
got a lot of great teams in the scene.
Yeah, sometimes it switches up. Sometimes teams disband and other ones pop up, but it always seems like there's a pretty good situation, no matter when you look at it. Yeah, this is a pretty map. I really like kind of the contrast of kind of the snowy with the red everywhere and just little doodads lighting things up a little bit. Again, not enough to adjust game balance. That's usually not the case, but it's just nice. It's nice to look at. I like this map a lot. Are there no Xel'Naga watchtowers on this map? Looking around and I don't see any. So
now,
nope.
We've talked a little bit about the players and like who's in this, but as far as this specific match, we don't always do it. But I'm gonna ask you for a call, Falcon. Who's gonna take it, Kelazhur or Denver?
Ooh, predictions. I'm gonna say Denver. I'm gonna say Denver takes it. It will, boy. It'll be at least a 3-1, maybe a 3-2, but I've got Kelazhur on this.
That's exactly where I feel too. I think Denver he's just such a monster Zerg that he's going to be hard to overcome. And I agree, 3-1 or 3-2. I think if this was like say like a big on-stage WCS TvZ, it would definitely be a 3-2. But maybe Denver's able to sneak in like a bit of a cheeky one. Anyway, Kelazhur's first Reaper is out. Slow, slow, slow. He goes through that inhibitor zone and slow again. And then, yeah. Just normal stuff here. And for those of you wondering that are like, Kelazhur in a European Afreeca world, well, Kelazhur, since he took a step back from full-time pro gaming, he's actually gone to Europe, and I believe is living in the Netherlands, I want to say, and being a student while also playing StarCraft and being incredibly good. So he's a man of many talents. Does manage to get one of Denver's drones too. That's a very nice start.
Yeah, 2 kills to that Reaper at this level.
And he gets the creep tumor.
Oh, and now the second Reaper shows up.
The second Reaper, that's also very notable.
I do love the second Reaper here. So many Zergs are just content to sit back and just make 4 lings and handle the 2.
Does catch a shot on though, so his regen is interrupted. Gotta be careful with those Reapers if you're Kelazhur. Sucks to make 2 just accidentally lose one of them, so he is letting both of them heal on up. But as far as whether they'll get anything done too majorly, I'm not sure. I mean, just poking and prodding the Zerg for now, making Denver a little bit uncomfortable. Then Hellions will be crossing the map afterwards.
Yep, and then the starport's up after that. So
Kelazhur gets a creep
Did he take
tumor.
another tumor?
Yeah, he did get a tumor, but it cost him a Reaper.
That's probably a fair trade. Got to slow down that creep spread.
Yeah, I actually agree too. Like, creep tumors are technically free, but they are not, and really delaying the Zerg's creep this early on. Quite nice from Kelazhur. He's actually going for another the Mad Lad. I don't think he's going to get that one. He's got a few Hellions joining on up with this now, though. I mean, if he shoots the Queens, maybe he can get like that Hellion splash trick off, but not quite happening. And the game continues on, and we're probably going to be seeing a BC rush here.
Yeah, definitely. That fusion core is about halfway complete, and it's just, I don't know about this. I just feel like the higher level Zerg players, of which Denver is, know how to handle a BC rush. You just have to have enough queens to do it. Denver here, as a couple drones do go down, does have 4 queens already. He's got 2 more in production, and all you need is those 5 queens to handle the 1.
Oh man, he gets another creep tumor. Someone stop this madman.
I know, Denver would love to have creep connecting his natural and his third. It's just not being allowed to do so.
Yeah, Kelazhur says hard no to that. And in chat, we've got Copenhagen Das. Hello.
Copenhagen Das in the house. What's up, Copenhagen Das?
Wall going up for Denver, so doesn't want any Hellions, just easily running on in. Spreading some more creep, and willing to bet Kelazhur's going to have something to say about that. Does force him away, though, with the with the queens doing their job.
Yep, BC about halfway done now.
Yeah, BC on the way. No Yamato cannon from Kelazhur, though. And it's also interesting, Kelazhur is going to be playing a bit of a mech style, but he hasn't actually taken his gases at his natural yet. I guess just wanting a lot of minerals for now, not really focusing too hard on that. But you'd imagine a meching Terran's going to be getting gases at his natural. So there we go. They're on the way now. But not just super rushing into any tech or anything like that. First BC is done. First BC is in the main base of the Zerg. Looks like Denver, good transfuse. Actually saves that queen. Very impressive transfuse last minute. He does end up losing one queen to this BC. Another one's under fire. He does have a transfuse primed and ready for her, but he doesn't use it. So loses two queens when he definitely could have saved at least one of them. So far, not too many drones have gone down, though, so kind of acceptable here. Just wants to make sure he doesn't lose yet another queen, and he very well could do. He's making roaches right now to defend from Hellions and things, but the BCs are still a threat. More queens coming on in, though. Kelazhur could lose a BC, and he does.
Yeah, the queens were late. I think Kelazhur got a little too overconfident and didn't realize they were coming when they'd come.
Yeah.
When they showed up, it was already low enough HP that it got picked out. So that was really pretty good. 3 drones down for a battlecruiser. I guess a couple queens in there too, but man, that was a good trade. I gotta say for the Zerg player.
Oh yeah, if you're a Zerg and you get a BC, you're like, all right, I'm fine losing a few queens to get that, because that was a very, very good trade. Now Denver's going for a bit of a roach poke just to try and force some units out of Kelazhur, and I mean, just it can't be overstated how important losing a BC is. Like how big of a deal that is. They are very, very expensive. They take so long to build. And it just removes all your harassing capabilities, losing one more of those BCs. Kelazhur is, it's a bit of a rough go.
Yeah, like you said, they're just so expensive. They're responsible for so much damage output, and they're so hard to kill at this level until a ton of corruptors come out anyway.
Yeah, in theory, as a Terran, you should never lose a BC. They've got the micro potential as long as they're looked after by you. And oh, look at this though, Kelazhur diving on in, wants to get some queens with his mass amount of Hellions, but the transfuse is on point from Denver here. The roaches are coming. Kelazhur's getting forced on out.
Yeah, a lot of those Hellions are very low on HP right now. A lot of reds and yellows in that group trying to clear this creep. And considering how well Kelazhur delayed this and denied this early on, I'm kind of impressed at how well Denver's managed to do to this point already. So Battlecruiser does have 4 kills. I'm not sure most of that is what you're worried about. Hellbats better against roaches than Hellions are, but still not fantastic. The 2 Battlecruisers, though,
yeah, the BC
are more of a concern.
Back. Denver just trading on out. The roaches are doing okay. They are killing a lot of Hellbats here. And roaches not that expensive. So Denver got a few SCVs, kind of traded out with his roaches. And then, yeah, things are just looking pretty darn good here for Denver right out the gate. I mean, he's on 4 bases. He's getting up a 5th. 84 drones for the Zerg, getting up a hive. Upgrades rolling. And Kelazhur just doesn't have a ton going for him in the immediate now. I mean, most of his supplies in a few BCs and a couple of Hellions. And while BCs are great and all, Denver could potentially just run away with this one, I feel.
Yeah, looking possible. He's not going for a Spire, though, which I find kind of interesting. He's just going for Neural Parasite to try to handle these BCs, which can be pretty good.
Yeah, it is an interesting choice. I mean, Kelazhur hasn't seen the infestors, so he could potentially get caught here. And if you get neuraled, those BCs are dead. They are beyond dead. Queen's running away from these BCs. Now, Kelazhur doesn't know about these infestors, I don't think. And if you get caught by an infestor, a BC is pretty much done and dusted right there.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, what is there to kill the BCs once they've been knurled other than other BCs?
I guess the
maybe
queens.
The queens, sort of.
I mean, the BCs don't really fight back when they're knurled, so... But you are right, and so Denver is throwing up a double Spire here.
There we go. I think you recognize the BC production was enough to warrant a Spire.
Yeah.
If it's just 2 or 3, maybe 4, you can get away with the Neural Parasite Queen stuff, but once you start getting up into the higher levels, you definitely want Corruptors to try to take them down.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Kelazhur going for a shot at Denver's economy here. I mean, the Zerg, very high drone count, but still could be losing a few here. Loses 6 so far. Roach is pursuing these Hellions so far. 7 drones have gone down, but nothing that's really going to destroy Denver here, losing a few drones at this point in the game.
Battle cruisers going after this fifth base. Wait,
nicely done by Kelazhur.
Man, that's a 6th. Denver's been macroing hard.
Oh yeah, he's a European Zerg, man.
Yeah, true fact. Spore down, drone count getting a little bit obliterated here, and Denver's
Infestors though, they nab one of the BCs. Is another going to get nabbed? Kelazhur, you want to teleport the others out right now, but he doesn't. These BCs, they're suddenly stuck. Denver should be using the teleport spell while they're under his control. They actually don't have a teleport there, so...
That's because Denver used it. Denver neural parasited him and jumped him 4 inches, so he doesn't have it anymore.
Okay. Does this queen escape, though?
If he can get off
the BC? Okay, it does go down. All the while, though, I mean, Kelazhur has been slaughtering drones. We've seen like 20 drones go down in the very recent times, so Denver actually down to 58. Has to fire up a few more drones. Just got his roaches and ravagers hanging out. And just to address a comment in chat, no start or not start says Skilla series after this one or happened already. The Skilla series is indeed after this. It's going to be Skillas versus Xanster after this best of 5. So classic Afreeca World format, which we do most of the time. Basically 2 best of 5s, then the finals of whoever wins them.
Yep, done this a bunch of times already. That is the drill. All right, man. So Army Supply 117.93 in favor of Denver here. Base for a base here. Although Cross will bile it down maybe into burning at least.
Oh, that CC. They ain't very nimble. Is it gonna burn or can Kelazhur save it?
It's totally savable.
It's burning though.
He needs to try though. While this is going on. Yeah, but Roach and Ravager just getting pushed away there. Yeah. No big deal. We are race car meching with some tank support. Command center at 23 HP. Get it, Kelazhur, save your command center. He's not going to do it. Bye.
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
Kelazhur, by the way, is a madman. He's making 4 BCs at a time.
Yeah, he's committing. He's really committing to this.
To which I say, what? No one makes 4 BCs at a time. What is this? Apparently Kelazhur, pretty confident in the Infestor nerfs. Gonna be going for these mass BCs, and I actually heard a little bit that BCs were kind of arguably unstoppable at this point. But we'll see if Denver is able to make anything happen. I mean, Infestor's still pretty darn good with their neural and everything. Teleports the BCs just an inch, but there is actually like nothing here to kill him. There we go, Infested Terrans going down now.
Let's see how good the Infested Terrans are now that they've been nerfed.
I mean, they're making it happen. Those BCs are going down.
Yeah, it's enough for sure. Another attack coming on in. Just got some Cyclones and some Hellbats. Spine's going to do pretty well against that. And the Queen trying to help with the 2 tank fire, a big problem. Blue Flame Hellions, a bit off mission there, trying to kill a Queen instead of drones. Roach Ravagers coming on and taking some tank fire, lays around the backside. And the tank
ground army really getting taken out, but he is still just building up this air fleet that he's got. I mean, he has lost a fair few BCs due to that neural, and so he is only at 5 BCs. I say only 5 BCs, but this really is all Kelazhur's bringing to the table for the time being. That being said, it is getting a fair bit done here as that hatchery goes down to those BCs. Currently nothing in place for Denver to stop these. He's making a few corruptors. Nothing in the immediate now, though, to stop these BCs. Basically just right-clicking across and just killing everything underneath them.
Yeah, I am really surprised they didn't have more corruptors by now.
Yeah.
They just get Yamato down as they show up. Corruptor count not as healthy as it needs to be to handle this. Queen's getting picked off.
Infestors, though, that's 1 BC that gets nabbed. Another BC, another one. All of them.
Have enough
assimilation successful. There's the infested Terrans. Where's the teleport? Denver should be dumping. Okay, these things are on
he already used it again. Yeah. Jeez. All right, man.
Okay.
So battle cruisers do get taken down. Enough corruptors do show up, but how much damage was done there is the question.
I don't know if it was enough to justify losing 5 BCs. Meanwhile, Denver going for a bit of a counterattack. This game is scrappy. So Kelazhur ends up repelling Denver's counterattack and taking this base. I mean, the Roaches and Ravagers can't really do too much against BCs. That being said, though, I mean, Kelazhur has lost a ton of battle cruisers, and Denver is still keeping his economy going pretty strong.
Yeah, his economy's at 81 workers. He's totally fine with that. He's taking additional bases down the left side and replacing ones on the top side too. And yeah, as Copenhagen Dust says, Kelazhur's going full Nathanius here. Nathanius, who loves his BCs and has for so long, will make up to 19 or 50 at a time if he could. He loves them. And Kelazhur doing the same thing here. I don't know. I'm not sure why he's still going for the same play at the moment. I mean, Denver has shown he's very good with the Neural Parasite. The anti-air from the Infested Terrans is definitely enough to cause problems for these guys. And if there was some ground army to support it, but he keeps sending the battle cruisers in on their own.
I mean,
and there's just nothing to take out the infestors.
Yeah, the BCs, I mean, they have been getting a lot of work done. Resources lost is actually in favor of Kelazhur still, so I mean, I guess he clearly is getting enough value with his units across the board to justify losing some BCs. And one thing that I do want to point out that is quite good for Kelazhur at this point is that he's already got 2-2 on these BCs, and soon they're going to be at 3-2, and once BCs are at 3-3, they are quite scary because they are just so tanky.
It's true. They are really tanky, and Infested Terran damage is great, Corruptor damage is great.
There's only like 11 Corruptors here. Okay, in come the Infestors, though. Suddenly the BCs, they're getting nabbed up. The Corruptors moving on in. I don't know how this trade's going to go for Kelazhur. Teleport's getting used, they're just warping on top of each other.
There it is, because they're been mind controlled.
Yeah, those BCs are now in trouble, and they will go down.
They are super dead.
That's 3 dead BCs.
Learn something today. If you queue up a Yamato cannon and then you get knurled in the middle of that process, it still fires.
Yeah.
It doesn't cancel it. So
you
good to
can't cancel Yamato cannon.
Yeah. So might as well get it off once you see the infestors coming in.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. If you want to suicide a BC, you can. And we've actually seen Kelazhur Yamato cannoning infestors. So even though he knows that they're gonna assimilate the BCs, the Yamato will still kill them and kind of free the BC sometimes. A Raven on the way for Kelazhur, interesting choice. I guess just having that passive detection to kill creep. Anti-armor missile, very good versus Corruptors due to BC's high rate of fire. It actually really makes the difference for them. Let's take a look. Command center's on the way here.
Yeah, I mean, Kelazhur, despite losing a whole ton of resources here.
Oh, the big fungal. But the Yamato cannon getting dumped onto those infestors, and I don't know if Denver's just pulling enough together all at once to deal with these BCs. Kelazhur seems to be getting okay trades everywhere. So yeah, Denver's actually afraid to engage into these BCs. His Corruptors are not here in the fight as Broodlord's slowly marching on over. There we go. The Corruptors and the Infestors are here, but look at this. Kelazhur just blinks away. He's just gone.
Nice. That's the way to use the battle cruiser. Well done. So yeah, we've pretty much split the map in half here. There's a couple bases that haven't been taken, but for the most part, we've taken everything right down that diagonal line. And bases are starting to get mined out, starting to get a little bit scrappier here. As you said already, continuing to be scrappy. More battle cruisers in production. Some banelings in the mix to deal with these Hellbats and these Hellions.
Yeah, they're a little bit too slow to catch those Hellions. Yeah. The Roaches and Ravagers are kind of trading out. Oh, Corrosive Bowels, his own units there. We are now seeing Kelazhur go, or Denver go for a bit of a push into Kelazhur's base right now. And this is going to force a reaction out of the Terran. Let's take a look here. The BCs, they're unsure of what to do, really. I mean, the Broodlord's pushing on in, but can Kelazhur take a fight here versus all these Infestors and Corruptors?
Let's see. I mean, it's going to be close here. A lot of SCVs are going down. Battlecruisers on to the threat.
Oh, is Kelazhur going to do it? Is he just going to, like, yeet on top of this Zerg arm? Is he going to teleport on top? I want to see it. Just teleport. Oh, there's an anti-armor missile on the Broodlords. Right. Not on the Corruptors, though, which are the main threat to the BCs.
They are. There's your fungal.
Is there another one gets tossed down, but there's the Yamato dump. Infested Terrans dumping. Okay, all the spells being used here. It looks like this is going pretty good for Denver, though. All the BCs are forced to teleport out.
So he does keep them alive. I was worried they were going to die there.
Yeah,
but
I think he lost a few. He's down to 8 now.
He just lost 2 bases. Good golly.
Yeah, 2 bases, a ton of building CCs, and yeah, this is kind of tough for Kelazhur. I mean, he's making more BCs. That seems to be his answer for this right now. The BCs, they do have to run, though. In come the Corruptors, and now they're kind of engaging here, but Yamato cannons being dumped on. Denver's getting a little close for comfort here, though, onto Kelazhur. No, honestly, like, this is just, the BCs just are not putting out enough damage to deal with the Corruptors here. And I think this is gonna go Denver's way.
Yeah, it's looking pretty much like the BC count is plummeting precipitously. Additional anti-air is here, and that's your good game. Well played. Denver takes game number 1.
GG. What a crazy first game between these two. This is what I imagined when I learned that we had Kelazhur and Denver both coming out to play. I was like, all right, this is going to be a good scrappy TvZ. And game number 1 showing us that it already is. Well played by Denver. Well played by Kelazhur. Honestly, in the end, like, I think mass BCs is kind of viable, even in like straight up fights, but like it can't be understated. Okay, two points I want to touch on for that game, like as far as exactly what happened goes. The anti-armor missile, that was used on the Broodlords from Kelazhur, not on the Corruptors. And the BCs versus anything with no armor, they just shred through it. Like, it makes a ginormous difference. So if Kelazhur used that on the Corruptors instead of the Broodlords, which were the Corruptors were the actual threat, I felt that maybe Kelazhur could have taken that head-up fight versus that army.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really surprised we didn't see more anti-armor missile throughout the entire game there. Once you know you're going BC, generally you see the anti-armor missile being tossed down time after time after time. So, agreed. Not sure what the problem with that was, but maybe something that we can see if Kelazhur tries it again later on in the series.
Maybe he will do it. I mean,
I'm just trying to remember a long ZVT where it was battle cruiser heavy for Terran and they won recently anyway.
Recently, I can't think of recently. I remember we had QXC in Afreeca World like a year ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you just made tons of BCs versus like some poor NA Zerg.
Yep, and that definitely won. That was definitely hard for that Zerg to deal with. But
thinking back to that, he showed back then QXC showed it was anti-armor missile in BC that made the difference.
Exactly.
And I also do want to touch on as well, Kelazhur didn't have +3 armor done there as well, which across the BCs, a lot of HP. Maybe the armor would have made the difference too in their armor and correct anti-armor missiles. Anyway, we're in map number 2. It is Thunderbird spawning up the top left-hand side of the map, playing for Infinity Gaming. It's Denver.
And in the bottom right, it is Kelazhur. He's back.
Kelagod, some would say.
That's what they say.
Great first match between those players, though. Very happy with these guys. Hatchery on the way here for Denver. Pretty standard stuff. I mean...
Yeah, no proxies, no proxy hatch, no proxy barracks, which would be really fun. I do enjoy a good proxy hatch. One of my favorite things in StarCraft. Not super viable, not super good, but I really enjoy it. I don't know,
anyway. Talk to Bly.
It's true, Bly can make it happen.
Okay, so we take a look here. I just want to gush over Thunderbird a little bit here. It's a very nice map.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Thunderbird. At first I was like, oh man, these wonky mineral patches and everything are kind of gimmicky in a sense. But I mean, like, just the positioning of this map, it's very, very realistic to take a third base on here as a very defensible 3-base location. And then taking the fourth's a little bit tougher on this map. But it still really gives us some great series because players feel safe going up to 3 bases.
Yeah, for sure. It is one of those bases you feel safe about. You got to worry about that back door, though. Those minerals, not many people do it as far as taking those minerals out, but it is definitely possible. You got to be aware of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So first Reaper on the way here for Kelazhur. Then, yeah, just a normal macro game here. Third hatchery going up for Denver. Going past the third base can be a little bit tricky, which is another reason why I really like this map, because if you're securing a 4th base, usually something is happening. Like, our opponent's going to try and attack on into you, so it's kind of like an eventuality on this map. Just because the 4th base is so much more exposed than, like, the 3rd base or anything like that. Alright, second Reaper is now crossing the map for Kelazhur.
Yeah, the 2 Reaper. I don't know that I've seen that at all recently, but Kelazhur seems to be playing around with it at least.
Gotta be careful with that Reaper, though.
Yeah, really wants to get that creep tumor, but too many lings, even slow lings, able to shove that away, and the tumor does end up going down.
Yeah, maybe it just gives him like the freedom to do what he likes or something. Just to poke a little bit more, and sometimes weird little things like say an extra unit or a bit of an odd timing in StarCraft 2 that on paper doesn't sound too good will get something done. So Kelazhur really liking his choice for the 2 Reapers, and then just goes into macro behind it. So maybe he just likes the fact that like it spends a little bit of gas that you wouldn't be able to spend otherwise immediately, and he gets up his reactor. I don't know, kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good for map control. I mean, 2 Reapers can do pretty well against a good number of lings out on the map. Hey, look at
two
Fusion
Reaper
Core.
grenades as well. Really goes well with your Hellions.
Absolutely. But yeah, the Fusion Core is on the way. So,
round 2.
First, you don't succeed, try again.
And I mean, think about it. Like, at that final fight, Kelazhur was not maxed out, whereas Denver was, pretty much. And so, if we look back and we look at the fact that Kelazhur lost like 10 BCs before that, if he had, say, kept those alive and then built up to 200 BCs, how would that have played out?
Yeah, that's the question. Hard to say. Do love the Viking out early, though. Just hunting Overlords, really trying to keep this hidden. Speedlings out off creep, getting...
Attempted links around, but 2 Reaper grenades did their work.
And healing up for the next engagement.
So now we see why. Okay, first battlecruiser on the way. 3rd command center on the way for Kelazhur.
Yeah, and at this stage, I mean, if you're a Zerg, you don't necessarily even have to scout battlecruisers are coming. You just make a bunch of queens anyway. They're going to be useful against whatever the heck the Terran player is sending at you.
Zergs in the current meta are like, boo, oh, we got to make a ton of queens to deal with BC rushes. It's like, boo-hoo, you're a Zerg. You make a ton of queens anyway, deal with it.
They're fantastic against Hellions and Hellbats and small
everything.
groups
Oh,
of
these
Marines,
poor Reapers.
And they're fine.
Oh, no, the Hellions they just had to watch.
Nice surrounds there from Denver, though. That was not easy to do.
Yeah, nicely done indeed.
Battlecruiser just about done. Probably going to teleport right across the map. There's not much of a reason not to do it for this first one. Can usually escape, no problem. So let's see if he goes.
Does he go?
There he goes.
Bases to attack, people to see.
Yeah.
The drones quickly
one drone down. Spore crawler in. The queens are perfectly in position to handle this. He could probably move into the main base if he wanted.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, the BC still has a ton of health. He got 3 drones so far. Does end up retreating, though, just playing it safe. Keep in mind, Kelazhur lost his first BC in that previous game, which gave Denver a lot more freedom to kind of do what he wanted. So, in a repeat from the previous game, maybe Kelazhur is going to be able to poke his opponent a little bit more and have a little bit more map control and such. Now, we are seeing a second BC on the way for Kelazhur, but the fact that he made a ton of BCs in the last game doesn't necessarily mean that he has to in this game or anything like that. He could always go for something else.
Yeah, Queens just stabbing away, defending their homeland and their creep. Yamato getting started now from Kelazhur. Yeah, man, it looks like second verse, same as the first here. Can't believe he's doing the exact same thing.
Man, Kelazhur's making me want a ladder and just go make a ton of BCs.
Just for the sheer joy of it.
Oh, just the joy. I mean, he is committing again because he's getting Yamato cannon on the way, which generally is a telltale sign that you want to keep your BCs, want to keep the BC train rolling. Currently, he did stop at 2, but then we see a third just fire up. So he really is keeping this going and just playing a similar style to the last game. And Denver already realizing this. 1-1 on the way for his ground units, but then also Neural Parasite on the way. He's just droning up to a very healthy amount.
Yeah, and this is where Zergs feel comfortable. Once they have 4 to 5 bases, and they can get up to, 73, 80, 85 workers and just do whatever they want depending on what they need. It's just, you breathe a sigh of relief. You just feel happier about where you are as a Zerg player. It's just the tense part of this, at least for me, is just trying to drone up and just make just enough units to where you don't die. But if you overmake units, you're behind on economy, and if you undermake them, you die. But once you're up here, you're pretty much happy and ready to go. It's just about making what you need to take down your opponent at that point. So I'm sure Denver's a little bit more comfortable now. Definitely going for the neural parasite. He's saying, "Are you seriously trying this thing again? Are those battle cruisers up north? Are they cruising into that third base?"
They are cruising into that third
Trying.
base. Looks like they killed a few creep tumors. Yamato cannon's done for them now, so suddenly the queen tax is about to be enacted here. Attack. All right, poor queen's about to have a very tough day. Triple Yamato cannon gets dumped.
And then he pulls away.
And bing, bang, boom.
Follow it up, Kelazhur. There's nothing else there.
There is infestors lurking.
That's true. They're scary. And they do have neural. And I think they have energy for it.
Yeah.
Come here,
And
guy.
the BCs do not have a or one of them doesn't have a teleport to get away, so Kelazhur opting to play it safe. And I mean, you can just opt to do that, and maybe that is the way that he should play it out. Just go on in, dump your Yamatos as often as you can, just get that free damage, basically. We are seeing Kelazhur move in for a pretty cool attack here. He is heading towards this fourth base of Denver. BCs and siege tanks now. I mean, Denver has an answer to the BCs, but the tanks can potentially zone out that answer. Like, infestors will just get annihilated if they wander too far forward. Tanks inching forward. Looks like Denver wants to go for a surround. There's so many Hellbats, though, so the Ling's not going to stay alive for long. And Denver, he's hesitating, trying to push up this ramp. He's down on supply. Kelazhur has suddenly made a bit of a nasty push.
Yeah, it's looking good. I love the tank support. Again, this is battle cruisers with the rest of the army and stuff on the ground. I'm liking this a lot more here in game number 2. Hellbats kind of dodging around, coming on in. Additional tanks showing up. I don't know that Denver has enough to save this base at the moment. He's got some nice corrosive bile to pick those tanks off slowly. At least the ones that are in range to take down the hatchery, it would seem. But very slowly, very patiently. He wants to Yamato down those infestors. He's going in there.
And the neural gets put on him, but the Yamato's already queued up. Kelazhur did the math perfect. He's like, four Yamatos, 4 infestors. They're not going to get anything done. The BCs, they were neuraled, but then they freed themselves, basically. And suddenly Denver's like, I got to go for this, but I don't think he can break this position. And I think Kelazhur is about to tie it up.
It's looking really good for him on the ground right now. The Hellbats are doing fantastic.
Poor Ling's just getting fried up. And we've got ourselves a 1-1 series.
There we go. Kelazhur. Much, much better that time around. Yeah, that's the kind of push that Zergs need to worry about.
Absolutely.
Not so much the 5 or 6 BCs showing up at the 20-minute mark, but rather the pushes at around the 9-10-minute mark with support of tanks, Hellbats, and 3 or 4 battle cruisers. That's the scary stuff. So nicely done.
Yeah, that was wonderfully done by Kelazhur. I mean, we take a look, and that was just really tailored to that map, using that high ground, going in with the few tanks and the BCs. It's just... Denver was not prepared for an attack like that.
Yeah, for sure. Not quite ready for it. All right, so we're tied up. And like we thought, this is going to be a close series. It sure seems like. So our next map here is going to be Ephemera, the latter edition. One of the newer maps in the map pool. Make sure these players are ready to rock. And man, if Kelazhur goes battle cruiser again, I don't know what to say. He just loves these BCs. He turned into Nathanius South here or something. Oh, although I guess he's in Europe now.
Yeah,
so.
He's Nathanius East.
Nathanius East. There you go.
You gotta love... I mean, do we class Kelazhur as a European Terran now? Now that he's living and playing in Europe?
I don't know, man. He is so, like, just connected with Brazil. I don't know that's ever going to change. And I don't know. People have actually said Special is a Korean Terran now.
I know, it's true.
So,
I mean,
maybe,
you kind of get lumped in with where you play.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not like Kelazhur's renouncing his citizenship or anything, but as far as like, being a Starcraft, I think he fits well into the European scene. I mean,
makes sense.
It's always nice to have another Terran in Europe because there's like 2 of them. And so, in all seriousness, there's quite a few good Terrans in Europe, but the point I'm making here is that he's a nice addition in the sense that pretty much all European Terrans, they're kind of like snowflakes. And no, they're not like special little sensitive snowflakes. No, they're all very unique in the way they play. And Kelazhur's showing us that today. Like, he's just like a ton of BCs. Enjoy.
You're not wrong. Yeah, enjoy. Have a good time with it. We pool first in here, Denver. We are pool firsting, ladies and gentlemen.
He's just gonna give it. I mean, he's mining a bit of gas. I guess not enough just for speed, it would seem.
Yep,
So just
that's
quick speed from
it's
Denver.
exactly 100. So
Gonna make a round of lings, probably, then fire up another hatch if I had to guess. Yeah, so just a bit of an early rush, and I mean this wasn't like a 16 pool or anything like that. This was much earlier.
yeah, it feels like a 12 pool based on the timing here. So we got the lings on the way. Kelazhur, is he going to send an SCV out to scout? This is the
Oh,
tricky thing
okay.
here.
Oh, he does.
He is.
He's
Oh,
such a
he's fine.
smart Terran.
He's
Kelazhur, you
fine.
are a genius. You know that?
Yeah,
You're
you
just
absolutely
so
have to do
smart,
this
so
against Zerg.
handsome, so clever.
So the SCV is not going to see the lings, but will see that this hatchery, well, it sees those lings.
Yeah.
We'll see that the hatchery is not done yet and
No,
say,
no,
oh,
no, don't look.
keep the Reaper at home, lift off the command center as necessary, and he should be just fine. Is the Reaper moving out? Reaper?
Oh man, Kelazhur,
Reaper,
don't
wait,
do this.
dude,
Okay.
you
Oh,
read
thank
this.
you.
Okay,
But the
man.
lings are already sneaking around. Something to point out is that there is going to be speed for these lings in like 20 seconds or less. In this CC, it's got more than 20 seconds to go for building.
Sure does. So let's see. Did he make a? He didn't make a second Reaper for the first time today. Could have really used a second Reaper, man.
Man, yeah, you're right. It really would have helped out. So the SCV being chased down by these lings.
All
We
right,
do
so
take
the
a look
SCV
at it though, and Kelazhur has whittled down these lings enough.
Yeah, it's fine. 3 lings, maybe a couple more.
Oh yeah.
Just don't get surrounded. Oh, this is so annoying. What do we got? Hellions on the way
Oh,
here
just
too.
a few more lings out. This is just the perfect amount for Denver. The one Reaper can't deal with it. Oh, and Kelazhur loses the Reaper.
What?
Oh
I thought
no.
he was safe. Oh, he looked safe.
Okay,
to
no
me.
way. The CC cannot be cancelled. Kelazhur comes on down with some Marines and his Hellion. He
Okay.
pulls a bunch of SCVs. He's like, this is serious. But that was nice for Denver.
Yeah, ended up saving it though, which is a big deal.
Oh,
So
a
what we're looking
huge
at
deal.
for resources lost here is going to be a good, that's about 100 for each player. Not that big of a deal, but the thing about Denver is it delayed a lot of what he's trying to do here. I mean, I don't know, what's the goal with that kind of a thing?
I'm not sure.
I have seen it actually take down the command center before,
Yeah.
so that's a possibility, but I don't know if that's necessarily what you're aiming for every time, you know?
Yeah, I guess it depends exactly like how early the pool was or something like that. Like if that was a 16 pool, that would have been a ton. That would have been like a perfect amount of damage. But there's the fact of the matter that Denver did go for the speed. He didn't just go right into his economy after that. He did commit a fair bit to that. So we just have to see where this game's going to play out. Denver's slight worker lead. He's getting up his third base. But, I mean, he did delay himself a fair bit, and Kelazhur's just going into his BCs. So the BCs are still going to pop out at the same time here. And Denver slowed himself down, so this could be a bit tough to defend what's coming his way.
Yeah, that's the problem. As a Zerg player, you go pool first like that, you kind of have to drone up a lot to catch up, as opposed to a 16 hatch. So he's got his third base down at the 4.5 minute mark, which is a lot later than he wants it to. Kelazhur's got a bit of an attack into his natural base there. Some lings just cruising around trying to get something done.
Yeah, there's Hellions, though, so it's all good.
Very well controlled there by Kelazhur.
Oh, and this Overlord trying to get in with the Scout. Gonna go down.
Yeah, even though it had speed, the Viking was out first. The secondary backup scout, though, will get in here.
Denver's so smart, sending in 2 Overlords.
Yeah, and especially with speed being as cheap as it is, why not get it, Zerg players? Just scouting is
do
nice.
it.
Did he see the fusion core?
Yeah, he must have. He saw Starport and attack Cloud and was like, okay, BCs, you're Kelazhur.
But what if it's Banshees? I guess the response is fairly similar.
Alright, third base on the way for Kelazhur here. BC on the way.
Man, Kelazhur, he loves his battle cruisers.
Oh, he does. He loves his cattle. No spores up for Denver just yet. And that BC, it's about 20 seconds out. But oh, look at this. The timing is so good for Denver here. Firing up 1 spore. If we see a few more go up, it looks like this defense could definitely just come together for him. I mean, he's up to 6 queens, which definitely is enough. But if there's no spore in the main or anything, could be a little painful. There's one getting fired up at the third base, I think. Yeah, none in the main, though. I guess Denver's pretty confident Kelazhur won't blink into the main. We suddenly see 2 spores go up in the main, though. Where is that BC, though? Oh, it's just moving across the map. Huh. I guess he wants to move on in. I'm honestly a fan of moving the BCs across the map. That way you have the teleport to get them out.
Oh, he did a secondary teleport, just like halfway across into the third base.
So he marched halfway across the map, and then he teleported
the rest of it. I guess he was hoping that the Hellions would distract a little bit more than they did, but in the end, not enough.
Yeah, not enough. Good defense from Denver.
So 3 drones down, not really enough to pay for that BC at the stage, but let's start another one, and this time Denver getting the Spire up a little bit sooner, which I do love, honestly. You can just have a handful of Corruptors out. It helps so much against pushes like the one we saw in game number 2.
Good creep denial from Kelazhur. Denver is getting like a nice little prong out, but that's been now pushed back. So that's very nice. We are seeing a 4th base be attempted from Denver. I mean, it's going to be pretty exposed here, though. These BCs like to poke in. Spire on the way for Denver. He's getting his 1-1. No infestation pit right out the gate this time, so an interesting choice from the Zerg.
Infestation pit coming up at 7.5 minutes. Do love a good infestation pit.
Hello there.
And Yamato getting started too. Again, man, Kelazhur committing. He's going to be the BC guy today, it seems like.
I'm fine with it. I am 100% okay with this.
Me too. Battlecruiser is a fun unit, to be sure. Tunneling Claw is getting started, so he's getting Burrow and Burrow Move for his roaches.
That's a really cool upgrade there. I mean,
don't see it a lot.
No, you don't see it all the time, and it definitely gets its value done. At least regular Burrow, anyway. Then the Tunneling Claws is just a cool addition, and I mean, Kelazhur, he's left himself relatively exposed if some roaches just kind of slink on in towards the Terran's base. Now, these Hellions are coming on in, though.
Yeah, no missile turrets at all, so we'd have to rely on sensor scans there, which, if he's using his energy well, he shouldn't have a whole lot of energy for that. So we'll see what happens here. More Corruptors on the way, getting +1 flyer attack, making sure those Corruptors can hit pretty hard. And Corruptors, oh, they almost got that Viking, and then they just pulled back. I guess they're worried about this push across the middle of the map instead. So the Viking is spared.
To the right have got to be dealt with. Meanwhile, the Hellions poking and prodding. All in all, that's a lucky Viking. Now we do take a look, though. Roaches potentially going to be moving across the map. Tunneling Claw is about to finish. Burrow done now. I mean, there is so many tanks for Kelazhur. You can't just charge in there, Denver. Okay, there's the Burrow. And did Kelazhur sniff that out? I mean, okay, yeah, he scans. He knows. He saw those roaches burrow. They kind of just disappeared off the map.
Battle cruisers at Denver. There you go. Corruptors showing up. Yamato on those Corruptors.
Yamato dump, and they're out of there. That's some nice value.
Out.
Meanwhile, these roaches looking to get on in towards the natural of the Terran.
Oh, he knows. Dear. He knows.
Yeah, he knows, but that's a little bit too late. Knowing is not half the battle in this case. I mean, you got to have something in position. Roaches heading towards the main base, roaches towards the natural. This is some guaranteed dead SCVs. They are unburrowing, and they are going to start slaughtering SCVs in the main base, in the natural. And Kelazhur, well, he's got a few CCs going. He doesn't have a ton of workers. He can't afford to take this much damage, and we have just seen 20 SCVs go down.
Woo! Burrow! Don't be a hero, roaches. Oh, they're done.
Oh, there's still a few kicking in the main base. Kelazhur's just got to split them up, be as big of... Or Denver has to split them up as much as possible, just be as big of a pain as you can. Although a great scan from Kelazhur, very well placed. Gonna allow these, or most of these, to be cleaned up.
Yeah, a couple remain, but not nearly as scary as having 5 or 6 in there. Alright, so that was pretty good. I mean, it's, how many workers for Kelazhur? Down to 53.
One. Okay, he scans again.
That's a lot of scans for those roaches.
Yeah, that's part of the thing. Like, I mean, the roaches themselves, or the, like, the scans are just so much more expensive. It makes it that even if you clean it up, it's like you took a bit of damage, right? Because that's not a mule. That's like 300 minerals just to kill those roaches.
Yeah, no, that's a ton. That's a ton of resources lost on those roaches. Got some burrowed lings over here, trying to shut down an attempt to expand to that location. Loving that. I mean, if you have burrow, use it.
Oh,
might as well
absolutely.
use it like this.
It is so good. That's going to force Kelazhur to spend more of his money.
Another scan.
Another scan
Does
indeed.
he realize it? He does. And there it goes. Yeah, man. Denver, I think he's in a beautiful position in this game. Making a greater Spire, working on just Infestor play there. Obviously. And +2 ground armor coming up here as well.
Yeah. This map is not as good for a push, similar to what Kelazhur did in the last game, so now he's got to play it out, take it longer, and I feel like Denver really has a good grasp on defending versus this kind of stuff. If you just give a Zerg a minute or two to get ready, they will cover pretty much all their bases, both literally and non-literally, as Denver's just so good defending everything here, and really has a grasp on how to take care of these BCs. No one
I just feel
just
like
yet.
The longer the game goes on here, I just feel like it's more in Denver's favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Although, I mean, he is engaging these 4 BCs just to get Yamato'd. Like, alright, use your Yamato on me.
And then jumping back on home.
That is something that I love that BCs do. The guaranteed kills from the Yamato and teleport out is so strong. It really gives the BC legs as a unit, because in just a head-on fight without Yamato cannon, BCs will be destroyed by Corruptors, but you can find value as the Terran just by using the spells right, using them at good times and everything. It's a fantastic, fantastic unit.
Yeah, really, really efficient stuff there.
Neural Parasite done. Denver getting his upgrades. I would like to see a second Spire for Denver, so he can start getting his Carapace upgrades for his Flyers. Broodlords want to push on in. It's like Denver looking to put the pressure onto his opponent. Currently 18 Corruptors versus 6 BCs. That's not enough to stand in the skies against this.
Yeah, get out of there. The Broodlords cruising on in, dealing with the Cyclones.
This could be a nasty push here coming from the Zerg, realizing that there's a weakness. Kelazhur got a lot of supply, but nothing that really deals with this composition. And so Refinery goes down. Broodlords are poking. The BCs are really the only anti-air to deal with this, but then the Corruptors just come in and force the BCs back. This is a wonderful eye here from Denver in order to realize that Kelazhur is weak in this sense right now.
Yeah, the Broodlords are still pretty much unopposed. Trying to expand over that way, but there's a burrowed Ling. Oh, that's so annoying for Kelazhur at this stage. Broodlord's a little bit unsupported now, too, though.
Yeah.
Unopposed but unsupported. Yamato using Yamatos on the Brood. The Corruptors are better off now.
One of the BCs
so
teleports out. But still, yeah, this is just such good value here for Denver. Like, his army is so good.
For Denver, running on in. It's going to pick off a tank there. It's pretty good. We'll take that. Free tank. Well, not free tank, but cheaper tank. And yeah, that base is not landing because of the burrowed Ling. That still hasn't been scanned and taken out here.
Such a pain. Oh, no. Oh, this command center, get your butt on the ground.
It's on fire and burning.
Nice. Oh, wait. Denver, a little bit greedy, wants to try and caustic spray that down. Zergs are so greedy, man. Not just in making drones. He's like, I want that.
He thought about it, but he was too smart.
Now his Corruptors are a little bit trapped here. Oh, man. Cyclones underneath the Corruptors. The BCs chasing these. There's Yamatos that can be dumped, and this isn't that many Corruptors here. There's so many BCs here right now. Kelazhur, you gotta be careful not to lose the injured ones. He just lost 2. Doesn't want to lose a third or any more.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Yeah,
man,
indeed.
Denver's getting great trades out here. Another one. Oh, barely jumps out.
Kelazhur saved that one, but I felt he could have got much better trades there than he did. Like, those should have been a bunch of free Corruptors, but in the end, Denver made off okay in that situation.
Oh, that was really good from Denver. He was trapped in the corner, took out
Yeah, he really made the best of a bad situation there. You got, what, 3 BCs for, like, 11 Corruptors? That's an okay trade on just, like, in any situation, really. And Kelazhur had the jump on him, so felt like that could have gone better for Kelazhur. 8 BCs out for now, more on production. Ship weapons getting finished up for Kelazhur. So he's on 2-2 currently for his air fleet.
Yeah, we'll just keep going into the longer game here. It just feels like Denver is just in a great spot. Look at the creep. Look at the mini-map right now. That creep is pushing up on several bases of Kelazhur's, up the right side here too. He's got vision on every base that's not been taken by Kelazhur. At the moment, it's just going to be hard for the Terran to do anything and go anywhere without being spotted and without Denver having plenty of time to respond to it.
Oh, Denver knows everything. He is the all-seeing eye.
He is the overmind.
All right, Broodlord's pushing on in. Is Denver going to try and push into Kelazhur once more? I mean, he potentially can. There's still not a ton of anti-air here. It's 10 BCs versus 20 Corruptors and 7 Infestors to support. Kelazhur going to catch these Ravagers. Kind of a nice find there. But then we take a look at this, and you are absolutely right, Falcon. Denver has secured the left base and the right base, so he's already taken more than his share.
Yeah, anytime this is a situation, it's just so hard for a Terran to break out of it. It's a methodical process. It is so difficult to do. I mean, I've seen players like Maru do it with just a ton of nukes and just slowly pushing the creep back over time.
Yeah,
but with his battle cruiser play, I just don't see it working all that well.
Yeah, Denver has already had a lot of time bought for him. So it's kind of...
I mean, he's starting to get a bank here, too. He's got 2,000 sitting there, just waiting to be spent on something.
He says, enough is enough. I want to be free.
I want to be free.
All right,
here we go.
Coming in. 1 BC goes down. All the rest of those Yamatos dumped, so that's some good value there for Kelazhur.
One of those BCs has like a hit point.
That was, yeah, there was a very lucky
so dead. Roach is trying to get out of range of that planetary fortress up there. 4, that's insane. Broodlords pushing up. That means they want to lay siege to something. They don't just sit out here for no reason. They're coming up on this base. The army is ready and waiting for them here, though.
More Yamato cannons going down for Kelazhur. 1 or 2 more.
Broodlord's just getting some snipes off there and then pulling back.
Oh, Fungal goes down on some of the BCs. The concern right now for Kelazhur is that his tactical jump is on cooldown. And if you're a Terran and you want to take like a head-on engagement for a Zerg, you pretty much want to just teleport on top of the Zerg and just YOLO in. like it's no joke. The BCs are so slow that the Zerg will just kite you otherwise and take like an optimal engagement. So you actually, if you are going to take that big fight as the Terran, you really want to be the one who dictates that.
Those roaches at the top finally get cleaned out of that planetary fortress that they were hiding behind. Drilling claws on the way. I do like the idea of some Widowmine hits on some of these.
I do, too.
I mean, it's never bad for a Widowmine to hit anything that's Zerg, honestly.
Widowmines hit anything. Like, is there a unit that they hit and they don't get their value from hitting?
I mean...
Like, even if the Widowmine dies, they're only 75-25.
It's true, but hitting, like, a carrier... It doesn't even get rid of all of its shields, does it? And then it's like, well,
yeah,
alright, well played, I guess.
4 to kill. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, sometimes hitting a Protoss unit and knocking its shields down, and then nothing is the follow-up, like, it's just whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's
doesn't really move the needle.
Same goes for Zerg. Their units can heal.
Yeah.
But at this point in the game, Kelazhur's not just talking 1 Widowmine shot. If he makes Widowmines, he's probably going to just churn out like 1,000.
For sure. He's getting some Ravens in the mix now, which again, feels late.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, he has been pressured quite a bit, but I do love the fact that he's realizing this. However, Denver might not be giving Kelazhur the time of day. Some Yamato is going to start getting dumped here by the Terran. This engagement's going down. Kelazhur Yamato'd some of the Broodlords, but now he's engaging into the Corruptors. This is going to be a close fight, but oh man, some of his own BCs have turned against him. Kelazhur has no choice but to run away with his tail between his legs. Friendly Yamato cannon being dumped on him, and all of a sudden, Kelazhur's a little bit trapped. It looks like he will push the Zerg back, though. We take a look at the unit count. It is 9 BCs versus 10 Corruptors. I don't know about you, but I definitely don't favor the Corruptors there.
No. It's not enough, but again, Denver had a huge bank. He's making 23 Corruptors. Yeah. He's like, you know what?
Zerg can do.
Come back around. Let's try that for round number 2.
Exactly. He says, I'm ready to go again, are you? And
This creep spread might actually deny the landing of that base.
oh my god, that would be disgusting.
He's trying to get there.
Oh man, and okay, Spore Crawler's coming up. Denver, so smart as the Zerg, really just showing he knows how to deal with this. Kelazhur hasn't had the wiggle room in order to take a real advantage. No, he does have an anti-armor missile, which will be huge, but no, he knows it's over. He sees like 30 Corruptors, and he's like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
that was out of here.
Corruptor count caused that GG. That's literally all that it was.
That's exactly. He tossed down the anti-armor missile, and he's like, I don't know, it doesn't matter if that thing hits every Zerg unit there is. It's not happening.
It was the bank, man. It was Kelazhur and Denver have a big battle. They both lose a bunch of stuff. Denver's like, wink.
Yeah, Kelazhur did not take a good enough first fight in order to walk away from that. Maybe if he had a Raven in the first fight, if he could have got one of those out, then he maybe would have crushed all the Corruptors.
Yeah, just keep saying would have been nice.
Just
to have some Ravens out earlier. It's just weird how how long he waits to get them.
Yeah, maybe it's tough to say. Maybe he should build like 3 BCs like the Terran does, trickle one out, then a Raven. And then you'd have the Raven to build up energy earlier just throughout like the entire game. Because if you do plan on going mass BCs, Ravens are not an optional thing. You need one. They are too effective just to be like, I don't feel like microing a Raven. It's like, no, you gotta have a Raven in that army.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you do the math, the amount of armor that a ton of Corruptors lose to one anti-armor missile, and then the rate of fire BCs do, it is so much extra damage. Anyway, thanks so much to everyone for tuning in to Afreeca World number 42. We're continuing on in this best of 5. Map number 4 is on Acropolis, and here we are spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map. It's Denver.
Spawning on the top left, he's still blue, and he's still Kelazhur.
Feeling blue after he saw that many Corruptors.
Yeah. He's like, all right, I took a good battle there. That was fine. Should have knocked Denver down a little bit.
Just hard nope.
Just got to establish this base and come back and... Oh, all right. Well, never mind then.
I mean, I still feel like there's room for Kelazhur to adjust his playstyle. That BCs are not proven, like, not viable or whatever. Just, maybe needs to change it up somehow. Something, somehow, somewhere.
Oh, my firmware wants to do an update. Not a good time, router firmware.
Not a good time.
No. Save you for later.
Does it just, like, pop up on your PC?
Send me an email.
Like, no, I'm not turning off. Just reboot your router now. No. I want to stay in the game. It's 2019 and Blizzard hasn't allowed us to rejoin games that are running yet.
I mean, recovered from replay is as close as we get. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzard once kind of hinted that would be possible to do that sort of thing.
Be cool.
That, well, it wasn't technically talked about, like, for StarCraft, but then for Heroes, they're like, you'll be able to watch live, just, like, through like, in-game or whatever, and spectate and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just, like, WCS and things. But, that never actually came to fruition because it would have been an absolute ton of work for them. Then they're like, we're gonna go release a new loot box for Hearthstone. Yeah, that'll be worth it.
Hearthstone doesn't have loot boxes. They have packs.
They're the original loot boxes, okay?
Original? No. I mean, maybe for Blizzard.
Well, no. I'm talking like physical card packs.
Physical packs?
Like...
Oh, packs of cards were the original loot boxes?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
you're right then.
Like 8-year-old me would save up my money and go buy some Yu-Gi-Oh cards or whatever it was at the time.
And the cards would all be garbage. You need to be bad.
He's like, huh. Shouldn't have bought 9 of the same pack. I don't know. No.
All right, what are we doing here? Denver, standard stuff. Yep, third base coming up, 3 minutes. Starport on the way, making a tech lab there too. Reaper comes in trying to get some stuff done. Might actually be able to get a drone.
Oh, Denver,
Yeah,
your
it
queen
does.
is slacking. This lady's like, uh-oh.
Ooh, ooh,
My baby.
ooh. Ah, Spore Crawlers it just in time, but that was pretty good. That was a pretty good Reaper
Nicely
play.
done by the Reaper. Goes in for an assassination, and what a surprise! Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Fusion Core. When did Kelazhur fall in love with the battle cruisers? When did this happen?
I think maybe he did it like a little bit before the patch, but now he's like, all right, well, Zergs are complaining about it on Reddit, so I should give this a go. So he's like, mass BCs. Reaper grenade getting tossed on down. Oink. Queens get bounced. And yeah, I wonder if we'll just see more of the same.
I mean, it feels like we're in Groundhog Day here.
My confession is I've never actually seen that movie.
You should see that movie.
I mean, it's Robin Williams, right?
No, it's
No.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. The classic, Bill Murray.
Oh man, I should.
You should.
It's-
Robin Williams.
I'll put it on the list. I've actually got. I'll put it on the list. I've actually got like a list of
Thank
movies
you.
and things I
Much
need
appreciated.
to watch. Okay, I'll put Groundhog Day on there. But talking about this game here. But it could be a while before I get to it.
That's okay, as long as it's
I'm
on the
making
list.
this list for when I retire,
Yeah, that sounds good.
40 odd years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's time.
See, by that point, we'll be able to absorb media directly into our brains. Instead of watching it, we just, like, plug into something and it goes, bam, now you've seen it. You can remember the whole thing if you
But
want.
then at that point, what is life?
What is life?
Yeah.
Well, you can't, like, absorb experiences with other people. I'm just talking about media, right?
Yeah, I mean, well...
The important things is
Can-
people.
Oh, this BC is about to have a real tough day.
Yeah, it's rough stuff. 2 drones down, but not really what he came in here.
He's got to get on out of there.
Queen's
Onlookers at the
in
beach down
position.
below are like, oh my god.
Overlord speed is done. Hooray.
Ling's coming on in here for Denver. Maybe going to nab up an SCV or two. Or 2. There's 2. Maybe 3. Maybe 4. Alright, he's already at
Things
4.
are getting way too much value.
This was like 6 Zerglings. And, oh, okay, doesn't get a 6th.
That would have been ridiculous.
Alright, Yamato Cannon is done. So those BCs have now been outfitted with AM. You know, do you think it would be cool if like a BC's look changed when they have Yamato Cannon, or does it change?
They usually try to do that with upgrades, right?
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a thing, because like it would be really cool if they like glowed more on the inside, and maybe they do.
We'll do some science. It's almost done, so we can easily see.
Well, it is done. That's the thing. So we can't compare.
Oh yeah. Dang it, you're
Next
right.
time we see that happen. Hopefully, Kelazhur wins this game and then goes for BCs in the next game, and then we can.
gonna Google it.
Then we can confirm. You're gonna Google it.
Yep.
It is so hard to Google anything StarCraft related.
Is it?
Oh yeah, just like for specific things, because there's not that much like on it, and then the game's so old. So all searches are just from like some random forum post with like one keyword 6 years ago. It's like, huh, that is not what I wanted at all.
Well, Wikipedia is always a pretty good source.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, double Yamato Cannon goes down, so 2 queens have a very bad day. That is not the lottery you want to win, being the one selected by the BC. Oh, Kelazhur getting on in here with some Hellions, run towards these drones, but Denver gets his roaches into position. His defense really is on point today.
It's really been super impressive. One tumor goes down, another one does manage to get set. A roach takes a few extra shots, ends up dead. These guys are just on a pleasure cruise across the creep, killing as many tumors as they can.
Doing their own thing. One teleports out, the other probably going to look for a few drones, maybe?
And trying to take down some of the static defense here.
Yeah, I think he's really just going for whatever at this point.
Yeah, it's like, whatever I fly over, I will kill. Sounds fine.
Death from above, basically.
Yep.
Alright, Kelazhur getting up towards the 4th base. I mean, Infester's on the way for Denver. He really has a lock on how to deal with this. It's not like we've seen Denver go for something different every time. He has not been like, oh, I'm going to make a mass queens, or I'm going to try and Nidus the Terran, or I'm going to go for Hydras or something like that. He's like, nope, I'll make some Infestors, get some Corruptors, and then I'll kill all the BCs.
I mean, Hydras are not the right answer, but the other stuff would be viable.
No, they are not.
Definitely seen a Nidus do a great job against this Battlefield for opening, so you're right, could have tried that.
But the thing is, he's confident enough that he doesn't need to. He's like, no big deal, I'll just macro up. I'll just get to my 81 drones and do my own thing. And something to point out, Denver is consistently scouting. Like, he keeps sending on in overseers and things. He wants to know that it's multiple BCs. That there's not, like, some, say, Thor transition or something like that. That would potentially just destroy his opponent. But now we are seeing Kelazhur go for a bit of a push right now.
Oh, gosh, those roaches are so dead.
Those roaches had a real bad day.
Those tanks set up and the roaches are dead. That's it. That one Hellion just absolutely baited them into their doom.
Looks like there's Infestors out here for Denver, so he might just be looking for some neural parasites or something from the high ground. He's moving in with his roaches and ravagers, tossing down corrosive balls. Looks like that's 2 dead siege tanks. Nicely done, because there isn't actually that many. And so Kelazhur trying to do a push, similar to game number 2, but I think Denver has a lot more in this situation. Oh my god, the corrosive ball just annihilating 3 siege tanks.
Those were amazing. There's only 1 remaining from like the 5 he had previously.
Yamato cannon getting dumped, but suddenly the BCs are no longer Kelazhur's. Kelazhur's BCs are now toasted. I mean, there's not actually that much anti-air, but the corrosive balls on point, really bruising up some of them BCs. And if I'm Kelazhur, I'm very concerned right now. These BCs, they're so tanky. Wait, are they going to get... Can he get some of those Infestors? He wants vengeance for all of his comrades, but he will go down. Oh, he's still going. As the Yamato again, this is one feisty BC. He refuses to go down. No, it's like an action movie. He's just driving away, and he's so low on HP. 5 HP for that lucky BC.
He makes it. 9 kills and 5 HP. Good job, dude. Way to escape that terrible situation. You should get a medal for that.
And now Kelazhur has made a ton of Hellions and Cyclones, and he's actually getting a very nice catch on a lot of those Roaches and Ravagers, but I still feel him like Hellions and Cyclones. What good's that going to do you at this point? But apparently it's actually working out quite alright. Catching some more of these Ravagers. And there is a billion Lings. There's 65 Lings for Denver. But then Kelazhur has Blue Flame Hellions.
Which trade pretty well against Lings, it turns out.
Yeah, about a billion to 1 ratio.
Yes. Baneling Nest on the way, though. That's going to help against those guys for sure.
Oh, this is interesting. He's going into that Liberator Cyclone composition. So Kelazhur finally throws his hands up and says, I'm done. I'm not making any more BCs. They ain't cutting it.
Past the 10-minute mark, they're not good.
So he's going to try and bamboozle Denver in a sense here. And then he's just going to move in with a ton of Cyclones and Hellions. Just zone the Zerg out. And then just try and push on in with all these Liberators. And it very well could work because, I mean... Cyclones will just kill Corruptors. Liberators will just kill anything else. I'm liking this choice from Kelazhur, as opposed to just bashing his head against the wall, the definition of insanity and whatnot.
Did force another scan there on that
Oh, these poor siege tanks about to have a bad time. Those Hellions are doing the best they can. Oh, BC, or tanks, run! Run, tanks! Oh, they're going to have a bad time, but Kelazhur's coming on in for an attack right now. Hellions and Cyclones moving on in, getting a lock-on the various units here. Liberators, kind of unchallenged for now. Looks like these Infestors moving on in, but the Liberators just annihilate them. Kelazhur gets a bit of value there, so I really like this choice. And oh man, he can just queue up Liberators for harassment now.
Ah, that assimilation complete. It's so slow.
Oh, it's so cool though.
So cool. It's just like drawn out. Yeah, it's nice.
Man, makes me want to play the campaign.
Liberator showing back up at that 4th base, picking off some drones to the south. Or Hellions, rather. Ah, Blue Flame Hellions show up. The Corruptors are like, wait, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, Corruptors have a very... I mean, Corruptors do their job well, but it's a very specific job.
Yes.
And Kelazhur, I mean, I like the way that he's playing this game. Or that he's at least changing it up. Look at his bank this game, by the way. How'd that happen? How did he end up with 4,000 minerals? Turns out that you have a ton of money to spare when you are not just making VCs.
Mules are good.
Mules are good, and in comes the circles.
Yeah, and he doesn't really have a mineral dump either.
Oh,
It's
man,
Liberators, Cyclones, tanks.
Look at this.
This base is getting absolutely locked down.
One base gets picked off there, which is very nice, but then it's tit for tat as a base of Denver's goes down. And Kelazhur just moves on out again. He's just like, alright, I'm outie. Liberator harassing in the main base, being a pain. Not gonna get too much because of that Spore Crawler gets a queen. Then we take a look at this. Kelazhur is going into more BCs, so he's actually like, I'm gonna build no BCs, then I'll build a lot of BCs, and you won't expect it. He's like, I got a huge bank I'm gonna spend on BCs. I got this cash money. I can't resist to spend it.
The problem is Denver already has all the tools to handle BCs. Like, there's nothing about this that Defender's going to be like, ah, crap.
Right time is the question. I mean, maybe he's just going to have overcommitted to defending from Liberators and such. So you never know. And now we are seeing Kelazhur is moving on up. Looks like he is going to have to back on out. These Corruptors are coming on in. Cyclones, you got to defend your boys. But there's Infestors waiting. Suddenly this awkward dance begins. Liberators getting set up. These Infestors can't move into those circles. Cyclones coming in to get their lock-ons. In come the BCs. And I mean, Denver has a ton of Broodlords, which aren't going to help out versus BC Liberator, really.
Not so much. Clearing out the Cyclones, yes, but otherwise, no.
Yeah, and the Liberators do zone out the Infestors, which are the main BC counter. Cyclones help with the Corruptors. I'm really liking this from Kelazhur. I do love the fact that we have seen Denver actually just go for a Viper. I mean, Vipers versus mass BC is not really going to help out, but the fact that there's a big clump of Liberators, all it takes is 1 or 2 good parasitic bombs, and you're causing the Terran a world of hurt. So we are seeing Denver. He's building up that energy. Kelazhur has scanned this. Knows that there is these Vipers out now. Needs to be very careful. Liberation zone's going down, forcing this Zerg back. But suddenly, Kelazhur is the player who's able to push into his opponent now.
He's trying, but I don't know. The Broodlords can handle the ground army without really trouble. It's a question of the battle cruisers and the Liberators in the sky that are going to be the problem here. Liberators setting up the circles, and I don't know about this positioning from Kelazhur. I'm worried about it for him.
He's got to make something happen, and I feel like sooner is better than later, though. And he just took out another base here.
He did. Took out a hatch. Denver. Yeah, Denver decided not to defend it. Creep spreading up towards that northern base, though. Man, that's crazy stuff. Another attempt to land down to the south gets shut down by a burrowed Zergling.
And by a
Denver's everywhere.
Kelazhur does need to make sure that he keeps his economy going. He's had this base canceled once, and it looks like it's about to go down again, potentially. Gosh. So he left himself vulnerable there, and he really needs to be careful that he doesn't run out of gas.
Sitting on about 1,600 bank, which is pretty good. It'll be some time, but yeah, he's got to watch that for sure.
This planetary under fire. You got to repair it, Kelazhur. Keep it alive, but the Broodlings surround. The SCVs are locked out. This poor planetary fortress goes down. The repair was not in time. As a result, Kelazhur going to move across the map, go for a bit of a counterattack here. And suddenly the Zerg has to return on home. But still, I feel like this is going pretty well for Denver in the sense that he just shut down 2 of Kelazhur's bases, denying another one for a little bit. Look at this, though. Kelazhur just going into the main base of the
Whoa!
Zerg. This is crazy.
All right, man. He's just popping right on in there.
There's so many casters. All these Liberators are clumped up. The Parasitic Bomb is going to be huge here, hitting all the Liberators. Oh, no, they have to split up. Okay, they do split up at the top of this ramp. They got it. They got to toss down those Liberators because in come the Infestors again. The Infestors moving forward. Fungal growth getting tossed in. Liberators shooting on some of the Infestors, but the BCs, they're trapped. They are fungal growth. They cannot teleport out, so Yamato cannons are really their only option. Kelazhur is in a fight for his life right now. Yamato's going down in the remaining Infestors, but the spells have already been cast to the most degree.
God, it takes so many hits, though, to take out a battle cruiser, and most of them do manage to escape.
So many. The BC's teleport shut down a base. Kelazhur being very tactical with that tactical jump. This command center is kind of going for it.
What the? Where are you going, command center?
Is he gonna land? It doesn't make it. Kelazhur, he has secured this base down here. Definitely wants to try and secure another one sooner rather than later. Rebuilding this location. I mean, he was a Terran who had a fair bit of a bank, like 4K. Keep in mind, every BC he builds could have been a CC, so I would have liked to see him try and squeeze out another CC. He still has the minerals for it, but oh, he loses a Raven that he finally made. That hurts. And suddenly, quite a scary army here from the Zerg. The BCs can't teleport away. They're fighting over missile turrets, but Corruptor's so tanky, simply don't care. Cyclones come on in to try and lock onto some of these units here, but oh, look at this. Denver on top of the Terran production.
Ooh, contaminate on one of those BCs. That's nice. Or one of those starports trying to build a BC anyway. Yeah, these are being really annoying. But Denver pushing up with the larger army coming up from the middle.
Oh, yeah, there's the Broodlords, there's the Infestors. Kelazhur, I mean, his supply's high, but a lot of it is in production. He's got more BCs coming on in, but his army is just a little bit too disjointed. Denver moves in and takes the 3-1 victory. GG gets called.
Denver proves us wrong. Neither of us believed in him, and he said, you know what? I'm going to show up and win this thing in 4 games. And he did. Nicely done, Denver.
Fantastic TvZ, though.
Yeah, impressive series. That was a ton of fun.
Oh, yeah, great games all around. Denver and Kelazhur. Such good players to watch, and as a result, we have Denver moving on into his finals. I want to say, this is no, this is not his first Afreeca World, I don't think. Let me just double check quickly here. Anyway, yeah, so we just finished up. I'll get back to you on that one. But we just finished up. We're going to get on into the next series, which is going to be one I'm excited for. We've got a new player into Afreeca World. It's Skillis. So we've having a couple of new faces here. That's why this is such a good event here today, is we're just getting a lot of variety and great games. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. This is Afreeca World. Our next match is going to be Skillis versus Zanster.